So this is the second part. So when you're going through your childhood and into your teenage years, and becoming a young adult, your body is very efficient at repairing itself. This is why lots of younger athletes will recover quicker from an injury than someone who is a bit older, so in their 40s. This is because when you are younger, the amino acids in your muscles are more susceptible to repairing themselves and resynthesizing in order to repair the damaged tissues. As you pass your 40s, it takes much longer for your muscles and tendons to repair themselves after exercise. This means that the performer's body will take longer to recover after a session, meaning they feel more muscle soreness for longer after it and are more likely to get another injury. For example, as a runner ages, they will have to take 3 rest days a week opposed to 1, which a younger runner would take. This may mean they may also be unable to race as they have a hard session in the same week, as their body may be unable to cope with the soreness without pushing them into the point where injury will occur. It's also relevant to say that as you age, your protein intake will usually be lower, which could be explanation for this slower recovery. Therefore, to aid a better recovery, older people must ensure their protein intake remains high. When you are a child, the elasticity in your muscles and tendons is very high. This is because muscle fibers are considerably active, and therefore the chemical reactions in the tissues continue and take place, and the elastic tissues are maintained. As you age, you tend to be less active when compared to a child. This interrupts chemical reactions in the tissues, which allow flexibility to take place, and therefore muscles become less elastic and able to stretch. The effect this will have on the body is that joints will become less movable and limitations of movement will occur. For example, a young athlete will be able to stretch their lower back out by flipping their legs behind their head, whereas an older athlete will be unable to do this. In a similar way, a younger tennis player will have a large range of motion when they complete a forehand drive, their aim starting further back than what an older person's would, and their follow-through passing further through the body than what an older person would. A final change which will take place in the muscular system is that you will see a decrease in the mobility as you age past 50. When you are a child and growing up, you will be likely to be active most days, if this is walking to school, running around in PE lessons, or training after school clubs. As you age, being active becomes more of a choice, and therefore many people have to drop in activity levels. The muscular system is responsible for this because muscles will decrease in size and strength, meaning they fatigue quicker and require more rest. The effect this has on older people means they may lose their independence. So, for example, where a younger person would be able to bend over and tie their shoelaces, an older person may struggle to do this without falling over and being able to get back up. Therefore, they would require help from another to be able to do it. So a sporting example, it can be golf, where someone in their 50s would be able to carry their clubs around the golf course and be capable of playing rounds and holes far away, whereas someone in their 70s may have to have a golf buggy to carry the equipment and drive around the holes, as they also would have to limit the distance their rounds, as they would be unlikely to drive the ball on a shot really far because they don't have as much muscular strength to do so. So to delay the changes which will occur to the system with age, an individual could regularly complete resistance training. This would ensure the muscles continue to work and therefore amino acids continue to repair them, keeping them strong and able to contract and withstand everyday life. A second way the changes can be delayed would be by regularly stretching. This would ensure fibers maintain their elasticity and flexibility is maintained, preventing any pulls or large limitations in the joints from occurring. Any pulls from pushing past a limitation in the joint. The graph above shows a decline in muscle mass and strength as you age through life. As you can see, the muscle mass increases up until adult life begins, where it will then slowly decline and then further decline. If you've got a disability, this will be limited to this area here. Okay, so the cardiovascular system. So one change which occurs as you age in your cardiovascular system is your heart loses its elasticity. When you are younger, you will have a strong heartbeat, which means your heart can contract and relax in a strong pattern, allowing enough time for the blood to flow into the chambers it needs to go. As you age past 45, the myocardium in your heart will begin to lose its elasticity and ability to do this, and it will lead to the diastole phase of the contraction being limited, which means the heart is unable to pump as much blood around the body as there's not enough time to allow the chambers to fill up. For example, a younger long-distance runner will be able to supply enough blood to her working muscles throughout her run because her heart is able to move through the diastole and systole phases quickly. However, an older distance runner may not be able to do this and go as fast as the younger athlete because her heart may have lost some elasticity and therefore rushed the diastole phase, meaning she would fatigue quicker as there's less oxygen being delivered to her muscles as there's less blood because the heart wasn't able to refill. A second change is the baroreceptors. They become less sensitive as you age. So throughout your childhood and young adult years, your baroreceptors will be effective in detecting when your blood pressure needs to be increased and then needs to be decreased. As you age past 45, their ability to do this will reduce. The effect of this happening is that blood redistribution will happen slower, meaning you may fatigue quicker when exercising, as the vascular shunt mechanism is taking time to detect that muscles require increased amount of O2. For example, in long distance running, an older runner may start a race off really tired because their muscles are unable to contract quickly due to the blood not being redistributed to them. This may lead to a young athlete getting a good head start because her baroreceptors were easily able to detect the changes in the blood pressure and redistribute the blood to the muscle she was using. With age, the capillary walls will thicken. The capillary walls are essential for the passing of O2 and CO2 in gas exchange, which when you're younger happens very efficiently and effectively if you are regularly active. The effect of them thickening means that the gas is less efficient, the gas exchange is less efficient, and there is a thicker membrane for the gases to diffuse across. This will mean that less O2 is going to get to the body and the beds around the muscles, meaning they will fatigue quicker. For example, a younger distance runner would have capillary walls which are thin, so they're one cell thick, and therefore when gas exchange is taking place, it does not have to pass far. However, an older runner may have a thicker capillary wall, and therefore less O2 will be able to pass through as it will take longer. Blood vessels will also become less flexible with age. This ties in with the muscular system, as it will be the muscular layer of the vessel decreasing in elasticity. This means the vessel will have less of an elastic coil, which aids the blood flow through it. Therefore, the effect of it will be that it's harder for the blood to flow through. Therefore, blood pressure is likely to increase. So, for example, a long-distance runner who is older may find that she feels fatigued at an earlier point in her run compared to when she was much younger. This would be because her blood vessels, when she was younger, were able to aid the blood flowing through them due to having an effective muscular layer massaging the blood through. She would feel more tired because there's less oxygen getting to her muscles that she's using. When you are a child, your cardiac output will be considerably low due to your heart not having a large left ventricle and being able to pump lots of blood through it. This, however, would have been made up by the number of beats per minute, as a child's heart would usually beat a lot faster each beat. With training, your cardiac output can largely increase as the muscle around the left ventricle will adapt to training and grow in size. This will lead to it becoming stronger and able to pump more blood out of the heart each beat. As you age, the muscles surrounding your left ventricle will weaken and your heart rate will decrease, leading to a decrease in cardiac output. So, for example, a younger long-distance runner would be able to expel a large amount of blood each minute, which means that her muscles will have a large supply of oxygen, so she is able to run for longer. Compared to an older athlete, this will be much larger, as the older athlete will expel a lot less each minute due to the heart being unable to contract with a large force and the heart rate being reduced. Another change which takes place with age includes this SA node losing cells. The SA is sinoatrial node, which initiates the heartbeat. It has a large amount of functioning cells, meaning that it's able to initiate a heartbeat to continue past down the heart, aiding it to fully contract. By losing cells, the effect this has on the body means that the heartbeat is less affected and is uncoordinated and will allow the heart to contract at the right time, meaning the full capacity of blood is not passed through the heart. Therefore, the muscles will get less oxygen because there's less blood. So, for example, a young long-distance runner will have a regular heartbeat where it contracts and refills with the correct coordination. Therefore, blood will effectively be delivered to the muscles she is using when she's running. An older runner may fatigue in her legs much earlier in her run because her heart was unable to refill to its full capacity, and therefore there wasn't enough oxygenated blood delivered to the muscles in her legs, so they would be fatigued quicker. They would fatigue quicker, not be fatigued quickly. The blood volume of a person will remain constant for a healthy individual throughout their life. If you exercise more, adaptations will take place in order to increase the volume of red blood cells, which increases the oxygen carrying capacity of the individual. As you age, your blood volume will decrease, and this is aging past 45, which means plasma and red blood cells will be reduced. The effect of a reduced amount of plasma is that there is less liquid to transport oxygen, therefore it will get to the muscle slower. The effect of having a reduced red blood cell count is that there is less oxygen carrying capacity and the red blood cells carry oxygen. The effect this will have on the exercising is that the athlete will fatigue quicker as they have less oxygen being supplied to their muscles. So an example of this is an older runner struggling towards the end of a race because her muscles are hurting due to being tired, compared to a younger runner of the same fitness who is able to power up the hill because there's still quite a lot of oxygen around her muscles being delivered there. So common problems which can derive from cardiovascular system with age are angina. This is when there's a partial blockage of the coronary arteries around the heart. It can be due to fatty deposits or the thickening of arteries. Because of the blockage, cardiac tissues begin to die because they have not been supplied with oxygen. The effect of this is that an individual can develop a constant hypertension of over 160 over 90. Atherosclerosis can also occur, which is when there's a blockage in the coronary arteries, and this can result in the same issues as angina. Arteriosclerosis may also occur with age, which is a hardening of the muscular wall in the coronary arteries and can result in permanent hypertension and atherosclerosis deposits developing. Anemia is also a condition which can happen, which is reduction in oxygen carrying capacity cells. Is to do with a lower iron count in the blood, which aids the carrying of iron count in red blood cells and hemoglobin, which aids the oxygen carrying capacity of the blood. A final condition which could occur is CHD, coronary heart disease, which is when the arteries in the heart are fully blocked and the areas of the heart begin to die off because the tissues are fully blocked. So to delay the changes which occur in the cardiovascular system with age are that the athlete should maintain a healthy, balanced diet. This should avoid large amounts of saturated fats, which could lead to blockages in the heart. The individual should also avoid smoking and large amounts of alcohol, which could put an additional strain on the heart. By increasing the amounts of exercise, the individual will minimise their chances of these changes taking place, as the heart would remain strong and constant. By having a regular heart checkups, the athlete will also be able to monitor their heart health and therefore be aware if any of these changes are beginning to occur. Above is a graph which shows the stages of blood pressure with age. As you can see, the healthy zone increases as you age, which shows that it's more
Yeah.